Father Pascual, you have been a former rector major for 6 years, and soon after your service to the entire congregation, you have been very busy preaching retreats, animating the entire congregation, and being at the service of the various provinces, taking care of the spiritual welfare and well-being, and giving your knowledge, sharing your knowledge in Salesian spirituality, in youth ministry and education. And in the past 6 years, how do you look at the congregation, and what are the areas that we have grown, and what is the status of the congregation at the moment? What do you perceive?
First of all, I would like to thank the Rector Mayor, Father Ángel Fernández, because he has entrusted to me the mission to be available for collaborating in the spiritual animation of the congregation, of the Salesian family, of the religious life in general terms, as much as I am required. No? And in fact, I have been very busy. I have had a very busy schedule. That has helped me to confirm what I knew. I mean, the great dynamism which characterizes the congregation. To confirm what I knew, I mean the very clear charismatic identity of the conference, of the provinces, the passion, the apostolic passion of the conference, and so on. But at the same time, I have been able to, how can I say, to touch firsthand the challenges the conference and the communities are facing. Exactly for the same reason, because I am no more rector mayor, so how can I say, the contact is much more informal. Yeah. So I can see which are the problems, for example, on prayer life. I see that conference tend to lose the prayer sometimes because when I say that there is the risk of workaholism. The problems that sometimes start up also among in community life because of the difference among the generations. For example, in some parts, more and more old conference and very few young conference. And finally, on the way of understanding and even carrying forward the Salesian mission. So on the one hand, I have confirmed what I knew. On the other hand, I have been able to touch firsthand the problems and also the weaknesses of the congregation.
Wonderful. And yes, we are here for the chapter, and we have this wonderful theme, what kind of Salesians for the youth of today? And how do you think that this theme will challenge us to renew our identity as Salesians and to march ahead as a congregation?
Well, the first thing that I would like to say is that we are present in 134 countries the world over. So the context, the settings from the cultural, religious, economic, social point of view are quite different. For that reason, the challenges from the regions are very different, and also the answers we need to give must be different. But I think that the most important fruit of this chapter could be the awareness that we need to, how can I say, to grasp the deep needs, the deep aspirations of the young people. Otherwise, we continue to give answers of the past for
problems of tomorrow,
new problems. Yeah. And they don't meet, they don't match. We need really to give answers. In order to do that, we need really to become much more aware that we are before a new generation from the cultural point of view. And as I say, our ability should be to be able to grasp what the young people are expecting from us.
And of course, going deeper into the theme, this is beautifully divided into three aspects. We have the first aspect of knowing the whole world of the young and the mission among the young, and the second aspect of the identity of the Salesian itself. And the third aspect is that of collaboration with lay mission partners. Do we look at these three different parts as distinct, as different, or is there some sort of unity among them?
Well, according to me, the three nuclei of the theme chapter, are very intertwined, very interconnected, that must be kept united. Even if we need to study one by one, but without ever losing sight of their unity. Why? First of all, because mission is not a generic one. Mission is very clear for us Salesians. Therefore, also formation must be also very specific. But at this moment, we have a new element, which means the new pastoral subject, lay people in Salesian conference, sharing spirit, mission, and charism. So the first reason to keep together all the three nuclei is because these elements. But the second, and according to me much more important, is that religious life is changing. We have, how can I say, a new phase of religious life made up by four elements. The first one, just to look at the origin of the vocations. If we go to the statistics, or we go just to the hall, to the Great Hall, we can see that most of the conferences are not more Europeans, are not more from Latin America. Most of them come from Africa, from Asia, South Asia, and so on. And that brings us a new challenge, multiculturality, and of course the challenge of the interculturality of the charism. In the past, we used to say, charism was born in Italy, in Baldocco, and all the countries were asked to, how can I say, to incarnate, to inculturate the charism no more. Now the charism is intercultural. So how to do in order to preserve the identity of the charism without losing very important charismatic elements and without assuming some cultural elements that are not Salesian. So this is the first element. The second one, the new generations of the religious conference. Why? Because they are very sensitive to some elements, to some aspects, to some values, but very reluctant to another ones. So what kind of formation in order to guarantee the Salesian identity? The third element is the priority given much more and more to the mission over works, with the risk of losing the importance, the words, or saying they are not much more important. No. If we think just at the fact that Don Bosco didn't want to stay at Pinardi, he drained Baldocco. He felt the need of set up the facilities, the structures for giving the young people the best of the opportunities. So we cannot lose the structures. But there is a big challenge, how to re-signify our presences. What we need to do in order to make them much more significant, much more relevant. How to convert words into Salesian presences. And finally, have the courage to set up new presences for the new needs of the young people of today. And the fourth element, the new pastoral subject, made up by religious and lay people sharing mission spirit and so on. And the challenge in this case is the formation of the Salesian identity of the lay people, and at the same time the formation together in order exactly to be the new how can I say, the new pastoral subject that we need to be.
One final question.
Yeah.
When you appear in public, when we address you as former rector major, and whenever you come for some official meetings. But we are also glad that you are part of a local community, a local formative community where you are sharing your life with the confreres. And so as a confrere among confreres, as a brother among brothers, if I may ask you a personal question, as Father Pascual, what is close to you? What is very close to your heart?
First of all, I care about fulfilling God's dream about me. Mm-hmm. I ask myself what God had in his mind when in his goodness he decided to call me to follow and imitate Jesus in the footsteps of Don Bosco. Right. Secondly, for 12 years, I have proposed to my conference of the whole congregation in order to renew our Salesian life, charism, and mission, many aspects. And I have the, how can I say, the moral duty of do what I have proposed to my conference in the past. And finally, how can I say, it's very close to my heart to feel to feel myself on the way of the whole humanity. Humanity is moving ahead, and I would like really to walk with the whole humanity towards God's goal on humanity. For me, it's very important what the Gaudium Spes says. We are called to share Gaudium Spes, joys and hopes, sorrows and expectations. But at the same time, to feel on the way of the church, because the church at this moment is, how can I say, is having a very deep change through the figure of Pope Francis, no? Mm-hmm. He has wanted to renew the church, giving a more evangelical, more missionary, more merciful, more synodal flavor. And finally, I want to be on the way with the whole congregation. For me, my best year of Salesian are not in the past, are in the future. That means I like to continue to walk with my congregation.
Father Pascual, you're full of passion. Thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you.
And thanks for all that you do for the congregation.
Thank you. Thank you.